Hello. Um, this is, I don't know, I'm pretty honest online, but I don't know if this is a different kind of video for me. It's definitely something that I've wanted to film before, and I just think more and more recently I think about how I can articulate it and what to say and what really the point of me making the video is. And I think it's fine if I just want to talk about my experience, like, and I think I do, like, I'm not in therapy at the minute, and I talk a lot online about my experiences. So, yeah, that's basically it. I think it would be great if, I could help someone feel seen and heard and to solidify to them that these behaviors aren't okay in a relationship. And, I feel like obviously if we're with someone who we think is abusive, then we are often not talking to anyone about it. Um, so hopefully I'd love for this to be a guiding light for you to see your worth and everything like that. Um, I don't think the behaviors I experienced were intentionally abusive, um, at all. I think it was always meant in good nature, and also traumas within them, and the way they were raised. Um, and there was so much goodness in them too, and so much want to help the world. Um, And even in hindsight, I mean, I don't know, I don't talk to any of my exes, but I don't even know if they would understand in hindsight what they were doing and how it was affecting me and how they were abusive. So also just to highlight that like um behaviors we don't even know we're doing are abusive. Um and not to say I'm perfect, like I was definitely emotionally abusive in one of my past relationships and I didn't know what I was doing. I was very young, um, and trying to protect myself and quite narcissistic. But um, yeah, something recently really sort of sparked a lot of fear in me about so my boyfriend at the moment, my lovely, amazing boyfriend, Danny, um, we drove separately somewhere for some reason, or we met somewhere and then we were going somewhere together afterwards. So we like both drove together on the same route. And I think he was following me, yeah. So he was behind me and like, I kept seeing him in my like back mirror. And it really just triggered me because it just sent me back to like a memory which I completely forgotten about where like my ex would just turn up out of the blue, like to my house, like not being invited. Like, I guess it's hard as well when like the families are close. Like, one of my exes, is it just one? I don't know, but at least one of my exes had a key to my house. So he would just turn up. And, a lot of the time when I tell like my girlfriends and stuff about it, they're like, well, why didn't you break up? And I was like, no, actually, like, we did break up so many times, but he had a key to my house. And my family were like, well, they didn't know anything bad that was going on, so they were like fine with it. Um, so I couldn't really escape it. Um, but yeah, so if we like had plans or something, we would obviously like like you're in a relationship, like you tend to know what each other's doing and what your day is and stuff. So say like if I'd work the next day and they had work the next day, then we'd like say goodbye, get in our cars, and like go home. Um, but then as I would be driving home, I would see him following me, and he would just follow me home. And at first, I think I thought it was really sweet and like, oh, he just wants to spend more time with me and stuff like that. But then I think as time went on, I was sort of like, I can't plan my time ever. And like, I never know, like, because then we'd have like conversations and I'd be like, okay, like, you're definitely going home now. Like, yeah, I'd be like, cool. So, like, I definitely know what's going on because I know sometimes you follow me home. Um, but that still then would follow me home. And maybe like they thought it was funny, like bantery. And most of the time they wouldn't even like come in the house or stay in the house. They would just go back home after they've followed me home. Um, Probably, I think good intentions, want to make sure I get home safe or thinking it's sweet or funny or endearing. Um, but yeah, when I sort of got triggered seeing like Danny in my back mirror, I was like, like it was just fear. And it reminded me that actually, I mean, I never communicated, I don't think that it was scary or anything like that. In my previous relationship. Obviously, Danny didn't actually scare me. Like that was just like a trigger. Danny was invited to where where we were going. I knew he was going to be following me. I was showing him the way. Um, but yeah, definitely reminded me of like old, just like struck fear in me. Um, and feeling very trapped and like my life wasn't mine. Um, as a probably disclaimer, I do suffer with mental health issues and have been pointed out many times that I'm possibly on the spectrum. So, inferring good intentions um, aren't always my forte. But like I said, like I think they were well intentioned. I don't think they were to be controlling or whatever. I mean, he was very, very controlling. Um, Finances were very much not within my control. I was like the main earner of the relationship. I'm 27 now, by the way. So this was like fair years ago, and we had a joint savings account, and I think most of the time I had a full-time job, and he didn't work, and yeah, that was he worked eventually, but yeah, I was supporting his lifestyle. I wasn't allowed allowed because obviously when I realized I had free will, I did. But to begin with, I wasn't allowed to spend money on like clothes or anything. Um, but obviously for he could obviously spend whatever he wanted on whatever. Um, but he was always able to justify it, and it made sense. So again, I think like the good intention was there, but and it made sense. Like, yeah, why would I just buy something just to look better or like look a cool way? Like, yeah, you're right. It is unnecessary. Um, but yeah, the joint savings was very, I think a scary thing for a very young girl to go into a bank, sign these papers, have this meeting to make a joint savings account. And honestly, I don't remember how I dissolved it. Um, it's such like a blur, but yeah. Um, on that day, I was instructed to find a neon or wear neon nail varnish. And maybe it sounds a lot easier to get than it was, but I scoured the internet. Shops, neon nail varnish was like not a thing. But I did find one. Um, well, one of them actually wasn't up to standard, and I was sort of made to feel like I didn't love them because I didn't find a bright enough neon nail varnish. To which I was like, oh yeah, like I didn't try hard enough. You're right. But I did find a bright enough neon nail varnish. But the day we set up the savings account, I was instructed to wear it, so I did. And after we set up the savings account, I was given the cold shoulder silent treatment. Didn't understand why. When I asked why, I was told that my nail varnish was done messy, and why didn't I, you know, um, spend more time on it? Because do I not love him? Do I not care about myself? Um, which again, like even saying now, I feel like a fraud or a bit of imposter syndrome. But I'm trying to stay strong in the sense that, like, no, that's not okay to do to anyone, but not okay to do to someone you're meant to love. Um, Also, bear in mind, I was working full time and I didn't drive, so I was public transport. And like, I don't really remember the ins and outs, but I do remember painting my nails. Obviously, it takes fucking ages to dry, especially like years ago. I feel like nail varnishes now dry really quickly, but years ago, like whatever was in this neon formula, like it took a while to dry. And especially toenails as well. Like if you've ever tried to paint your toenails, like whatever. Um, but the expectation was a lot. I had to look a certain way, false eyelashes and all that, which so isn't me. Um, yeah, so completely dressed in a costume basically that was nothing like me. Um, and yeah, and then I think it's so hard to get into the whole like intimate side of abuse in that sense. Like I was never like forced to, but it was just the pressure and the way I was made to feel was so awful. And I think Danny's the only person I've truly spoken about that with, and the patience in that man to listen to that and to help heal all of those wounds and like to communicate that together. And it's amazing, truly amazing. I was also caught up with a friend recently, um and we were saying that like our exes made us feel like we were asexual because we just so weren't interested. Like it was just like such a survival mode whenever intimate things had to happen. um and like even in the relationship, I feel like I did start to put my foot down in like in regards to that, because I think you can only take, well, everyone is different. For me, I was obviously in a very privileged situation where like I wasn't forced to be doing anything, it was just pressure. So I did eventually put my foot down with certain things physically. um or I was still madly pressured to try and do it, but I was just like, I'm not doing it. um but then there was pressure to do other things, and then those things often took me away from family activities, um, and just my day-to-day life activities, dinner time, um, and these things would have to last a long, long time. And if I was not acting into it enough or trying to rush it, then it was just emotional abuse of why don't I care? Like, and again the pressure of like, well, I'm not doing this, so you need to do this. There was a lot of like, but you're my girlfriend, um which I never understood. And when we first got together, they were very much like painted the picture of themselves as like a perfect man, and that if we ever broke up, I'd never find ever a man. If we broke up, I had to accept being single forever because this man was the best of the best and the most understanding of all. And I truly, truly did believe that. I had a rule very early on when I still had self-esteem and self-worth, um, that pornography did not have a place in my relationship. Like I just felt uncomfortable with it from the get-go, and I was hit with that's normal and stuff. I never understood that it was normal, but I was just so uncomfortable with that being part of my relationship. Um, like even when we're apart, like just no. So a lot of the intimate pressure and everything came from, um a lot of the argument was, you don't let me watch this. Which, like, if anyone tried to say that to me now, like, and also just it felt so justified in the moment. So I literally felt like this horrible ogre that was undesired, wasn't looking after herself, wasn't showing her partner she loved them, wasn't was also thought she was asexual, so that that was also years ago, so way before like more representation of things and how like asexual is actually fine. Like I literally met people now that are asexual in loving, happy relationships. And like before, like that just never I never thought there could be. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of but it all just in the moment all just seemed so like you're right. Like it never seemed like I was being manipulated ever. Um, and that's like the slippery slope, I think. And that's, we were never allowed to talk about our relationship with other people. And that's how things escalate so quickly. But yeah, the argument with not telling anyone anything was that we needed to remain solid as a unit. And also the God like comparisons, like the sense of grandeur, like we were going to take over the world. We were Kim and Kanye. And I was fully Delulu under that spell. So it was like, yeah, like people don't want to hear about bad things about Kim and Kanye. So I can't tell a single soul anything because also if I do that, then I don't love my partner. If I could think any tiny thing bad about them, then I don't love my partner. And like, it got to a point where I really didn't, like I could appreciate them as a human. And I would often say to them, like, I don't think you're funny. I don't like, I didn't know how to end it because again, that's weird. Like, I couldn't end it because they kept showing up. Um, but I would say to them, like, you need someone else. Um, like, I don't, I can see you have nice qualities, but I don't like any of them. And that was me sort of when I became disillusioned. And, that's not a nice thing to say to someone or for someone to hear, but that's the point it got to. Um, yeah, I don't think I want to talk much on the intimate side of things, but just complete lack of respect for me. Um, and like what was, yeah, like I felt like the smallest thing on the planet. Um, sorry, my phone's falling. Um, oh yeah, that I was truly, truly awful. Like yeah, like there was a lot of like costume at play and like cleansing rituals which are not healthy or safe. Um, yeah, and comparison to other women, especially porn stars that apparently did this unsafe cleansing ritual too. Um, yeah. Um, yeah, my finances were completely done. Yeah, it was not a nice thing. But again, I don't ever think my exes were bad intentioned. I think they always thought they were doing the right thing, trying to protect me, trying to make me feel loved. And I truly think that they believed all the comparisons and stuff they were saying. I just don't think they were ever truly shown love growing up. And that's what they believed love was. Um, I hope, I wish the best for anyone I've come into contact with and, someone that you share part of your life with. Like I feel like you definitely want the best for them no matter what. Um, but just not near me. um, and yeah, I don't, when obviously in my head that person is just typified by the abuse or what I deem as abuse. You have heard it, so you might disagree, but they were typified as this like abusive, horrible person in my head. And obviously for like people who knew them, they didn't know any of this. So they just had this other idea of them. And when things come out slowly over years, um, they're like, what? And they don't know the half of it, like the half of it. But yeah, when their perception changes, I think it made me feel more comfortable to share my story more. And it definitely still is a scary place for women generally. And I feel so thankful to have my Danny that, I can share any thought with and is the most unjudgmental person. Um, he has his opinions, obviously, and like he helps me with those opinions and he's very, very good with that. But uh, yeah. Um but definitely we need to speak up as women. And like I don't know if any of my family or friends are gonna be happy that I've made this video. But if I'd have seen this, oh, if like little Jazz had seen this video then, like maybe it would have saved her a lot of what she went through. And yeah, but what got me out of that truly was I made an online friend. And anyone who knows me knows this friend and how much I love her. But I had an online friend and she lived in a completely different continent. So I felt like it was a safe enough distance that I could share with her what was going on. And obviously, like I was, with any abuse, I was completely alienated from my friends and family. Like I didn't have any friends. Because obviously no one was good enough to be my friend apart from him. Um, but yeah, this friend obviously wanted to be my friend, and saw enough in me to want to talk to me and be my friend. So I felt empowered enough to tell her, and she gently was like, "Jasmine, that's not okay." And she supported me, still when it was ongoing. Um, she was never pushy. She was just an angel sent from heaven above. um, yeah, I think something else that also made me more disillusioned from it all, which isn't really advice because it's, I don't wish that on anyone, but um, my best friend died. She killed herself. Well, I say I didn't have friends. Like my school best friend died. And we would talk on and off. So I guess I was wrong when I said I had no friends. So we would talk on and off, and she died by suicide. And that obviously just shook me and changed a lot of like I think I emotionally just shut off and was like nothing's worth it. um and maybe started to become more empowered, but they were very unhappy with the fact that I think someone else could have an effect on my emotions, and they quite fresh, after, and it was my first grief, um quite soon after my friend died, my ex was like saying how much he hated them because of what they did, because it made me an unfit girlfriend for him. And, you know, the worst person in the whole world could die. But if someone loves that person, you can't say anything bad about it, especially just after it's happened. Do you know what I mean? Um, but maybe that's just my opinion and my experience. But yes, it's also very, very long. Um, I think just by nature, I will leave links below. Um, again, I feel very lucky that it's a very, very low level of abuse I think I suffered. Um, and again, I truly don't think that any of my exes have any idea of what I went through. Um, and that's just part of growing up, I guess. Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't communicate, and not to say I deserved any of it, but there was a lot of manipulation and things. But again, I think it was just the way they were raised, and I don't think their family or friends knew what they were like behind closed doors, and I don't think they was even aware of it themselves. And I never want anyone to be blamed for any of that, and whether that's still part of like a part of it where you want to protect them. But I truly believe that they mean good, and I hope that they have grown up and learned. Um, so anonymity is very, very key, very key. Um, but yeah, just to highlight, like if any of my little anyone went through it, but like especially like if my nieces went through it or my nephew went through it, I shouldn't gender. It's no different for gender. Like abuse is abuse. People are people. Like I said, like I was a psycho. I couldn't. I wasn't a very good girlfriend as well. Um, so yeah, just like that, these are the signs. Those are the warning signs. Those are what happens. And even saying it and telling you, like it doesn't seem like abuse. It seems like someone just trying to help. And I didn't vocalize any of my unsatisfaction towards it, and that's what led to it. Um, yeah, there's not much more to really say on that. Thank you so much for giving me the time to and platform to talk about it. I feel like a weight has been lifted, and I do hope this helps someone. But it has helped me just to talk about it. So thank you. If no one's told you lately, I'm so proud of you. I love you so much. But I will see you when I next see you, and I will make sure it's a lovely, happy, fun video. That, yeah, maybe like a nice ASMR or something. With my nice new mic, I've got this other mic cover too, which I feel like would be so nice for ASMR. But yeah, that's that. And I hope you have a nice day tomorrow and enjoy the rest of your day today.